modifications of bodywork, and this little lightweight recovery crane on the back, but more than capable of doing some useful recovery work with the big Leyland Comet. Built in the 1960s, in fact in 1961, nice example, and very simple livery, the owner's own identification is on the doors. Grand example, that's the Leyland Comet making its way around. It's got Thames to follow on. This is the Fortune Thames ET6 with a long wheelbase flatbed body here, 4-ton carrying capacity. Nice example of general cargo. A lot of these little flatbeds were used for local deliveries. This one again gives a good example of what it was capable of doing and was designed for. Built in 1956, Fortune being the commercial vehicle end of Ford Motor Company, and doing a grand job as it makes its way around. Again, very nice turnout. A lot of competition in this particular area of the marketplace for these relatively lightweight vehicles that we use for local and mid-range sort of delivery work and haulage. And again, a lovely example, flatbed in beautiful conditions, chassis properly done, and look at the bonnet, look at the wings. Now they've had a hard life, but they've put back to lovely condition. Following on now is the big Leyland. Making its way, this is a heavy recovery. 4 axles, 8 wheels. This is designed to do some serious heavy commercial recovery. Hudson's had a big fleet of recovery vehicles based out of Millthorpe, around the bay from here. Worked for many years. Most of these vehicles are now in retirement, but only semi-retirement. They've all been pulled out to do some serious recovery work. Notice the 2 front axles turning. Again, getting that big vehicle round the limited space we have this year. And that's all down to the lousy wet weather we've been having for weeks and weeks and weeks on end. The drainage here is good, it stays dry and the wind blows, but I'm hoping the rain's going to go away again. Next one up, another of Hudson's recovery vehicles. This is the Leyland Buffalo, built in 1974, 8.2 litre, 225 brake horsepower Leyland engine under that cab, and a decent hydraulic crane on the rear, 6-ton capacity, so more than capable of doing some major commercial vehicle recovery work. A vehicle that's worked hard throughout its working life, and again, it's good to see that we're able to move these big vehicles about today. Hudson's many years operated this fleet of heavy commercial vehicle recovery trucks throughout the northwest, based out of their depot at Millthorpe. So another example, grand example there, still surviving, still capable of doing it. Next one up. The Leyland Super Comet with its very long wheelbase flatbed body, 24-foot flatbed body here. Built in 1968, 130 horsepower, 6.5 litre unit under the cab of Leyland. Very much beginning to corner the market in the late 60s with commercial vehicles, taking everybody else head on really, and producing some very nice trucks. Comfortable cab, tremendous visibility from the cab all around, and driver comfort beginning to be quite an issue. Not something that was really worried about with the earlier commercial vehicles. It was just a case of getting from A to B. Comfort and the need to be able to do these long haul trips became quite an important factor. Right, next one up, a Foden. Foden from Cheshire, 8-wheeler. Very popular vehicles, produced as dinky toys for many years. Lots of small boys like me used to love these big 8-wheeler Fodens and get the dinky variants of them, but here it has a big box on the back. No doubt it's got some living accommodation inside that big box, I would guess. We're coming to these rallies. See the front 2 axles just steering nicely, again beautifully turned out. That David Pyro with his own livery on the door. Finished the renovation of that truck only last year. Owned the lorry during the period 68 to 72, and then it was sold on to Marshalls, the fairground operators from Brighouse in Yorkshire, and he bought it back from them in 2002 in scrap condition, and from 2002 to 2011 it went through this long period of restoration. What a wonderful job they've done. Very, very nice indeed. Big ERF articulated unit to follow. ERF making its way now, front of the grandstands. This no doubt, I suspect, will have brought something like a traction engine plus. So on that swan neck, the short bit at the front, you get perhaps even a tractor up there, you get a steam engine on the flatbed, and he's still managing to get round on our wet ground out there. That's a big ERF, that's about as big as they're going to come. Built in 1980 with a 265 horsepower engine. We've got the Bedford to follow on. This is a nice example of the J-type with this short wheelbase tipper body on it, built in 1960. 3.3 litre Bedford engine under the bonnet, and this was a very popular vehicle. It followed on from the little sharp-nosed cab Bedfords in its day, and this iconic 1960s styling. Bedford, of course, owned by General Motors, so there was always a little bit of American influence on their design, and they built these trucks down in the south of England at Luton. That's a lovely example. A little tipper vehicle that would have been very, very usable in the local area, delivering to building sites, and this one in Broomfield's own livery, with a mixture of sand, gravel and stone deliveries as providing its bread and butter. So that's little J-type tipper. Follow on, another Ford, an earlier one this time. 1955. I do believe this has got the two-stroke engine. Unusual, isn't it, for a big truck, but you hear the two-stroke really when it opens up. They have a very distinctive roar with them. And it's the Model S18 from 1955 with a 128 horsepower engine under that cab. Open lattice style chassis, and the independent trailer unit for a heavy haulage that could have been hauled behind with a long extension between the six-wheeler chassis truck and the two-wheeler trailer that would have been hitched up behind. So that's designed for major heavy haulage. Come from Spennymoor for the weekend with that, County Durham. Following on with a later Foden. This is the model S106 from 1987, 380 horsepower engine. Used mainly for brick haulage in its day. 3-axle, 6-wheeler. A big Atlas hydraulic crane built onto the chassis at the rear of the flatbed for unloading packs of bricks. A nice little moped up just behind the cab as well, so a good all-rounder. That's the big Foden S106. Well, while we're moving these trucks, the stewards are doing some serious juggling. They've been watching the ground carefully. We're just going to be bringing the lighter commercials through now. The big trucks, the arena is starting to cut up, and so we're going to try and preserve it as long as possible. We do have a number of other displays through the day where we want to use